implies is a name for a young unmarried woman or a single lady, as it implies, and which is what this show is all about. But the thing is, we can't discuss about an unmarried lady without talking about her counterpart, and we're talking about the male foe. But today, what are we looking at? We're looking at Omoté Show from the man's perspective. We'll be dealing on some basic issues, and we have someone here who is, I would say, is his forte. Okay, don't go anywhere. I'll be coming back very shortly after this time out. Thanks for staying with us. This is still Omoté, and I have in the studio an amazing guest, as I mentioned earlier, is no other than Mr. Kingsley Obum Ebulen. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm glad to have you today. We listen to your voice every evening, and this time we're seeing the face behind the voice. We are so excited to have you here.
It's
You know,
my
since this,
pleasure.
thank you. Since this program started, we've been looking forward to having an in-depth, not an in-depth study, not research now. Understanding from the man's angle on these special women. We're talking about Omoté, and you know the show is based on young women, unmarried women above 35. Yes. Special class. We can say that again. Yes. So number one of the many things that come to mind is most of those young women in this group, in this sect or class, like you rightly said, are usually settled career-wise. Either they're settled career-wise, they're settled in the business, they've attained a certain height. And it sort of shocked some people or some men away. It takes only very few confident ones to say, you know what, I know she has.
I can deal with it. I can handle it.
Yeah, you took it right out of my mouth. You know, I know she has everything going for her right now, but I can still walk up to her and talk to her. But there are few. And this is a huge and a major challenge to some women. We may not talk about it, I'm speaking for them.
Yeah, I think it's the way the average boy has been socialized. We have been socialized to believe that the woman is actually at his beck and call. We also have been socialized to accept the fact that a woman is beneath the man. So any woman that doesn't fit into that stereotype, that picture, isn't good enough for me. But like we said, there are a few class of men who have risen beyond that stereotype. There are a few class of men who, because of their own socialization, have been able to rise up to the plate.
But these few ones are these single. No, most times they're already married and with experience and the rest.
Well, I won't say for everybody, but maybe I should speak for myself.
Okay.
My wife is older than me.
Are you serious? Look at that.
And I've never been attracted to young women. It's not really any special making. It's just something that I feel
personally.
Yes, I have this understanding that the younger, the more work I have to do. So I believe that older women have gone through certain things in life which prepares them for the journey. And they've picked up quite a lot of experiences from the field. And you see, we also need to deconstruct the perception that the older, the more loose.
Unfortunately, that's the mentality of some persons. Very poor, terrible
pathetic mentality. Yes, she's just older, but she could actually be better. However, by virtue of age, not everybody grows up with age. Not everybody attains certain psychological maturity with age. But you could take it for granted that the older you are, the more issues you've dealt with. And so that kind of prepares you for the role of a wife, the role of a mother. I'll give you an instance. Dealing with my siblings, it's a lot of work. So for guys who have that mentality, it's some
mentality of phobia. Some of them just dread it.
Yeah, it's not a phobia per se. I think it's a perception. It's a mentality of she's old, she's too experienced for me.
She's too experienced for
deal
me.
with it. Yes. So if you can't deal with it, that's a problem. It is not the lady's problem. It is not. But you see, I also sympathize with ladies who, because they are older, because they seem to believe that age and time is not on their side, they tend to compromise. They tend to relax their standards.
The standards and
yeah,
stoop a bit low or something. Yeah.
They want to be seen as marriageable. No, that's wrong. Because
coming from a man, I just have to interject. Coming from a man.
Yeah, no serious man.
Are you aware? I'm sorry to cut you. Are you aware that even ladies, their friends, their families, tell them, bring your standard down, you're on too much?
No. It's like trying to, like you say, call a cow an uncle because we
don't eat meat. Beef.
Yeah, I've never subscribed to that. Okay. It is my personal orientation. Now, don't get me wrong, I wasn't raised on the streets. No. I met my wife, and you see, I didn't even bother about her age. It was 2 weeks to our wedding that we realized that.
You're kidding me.
Yes. Because see, I don't always bother about people's age. Yeah. Now, as an individual, one of the things that disarms me easily is a woman's intelligence. Yes. And that's because I was raised to believe that girls are not very intelligent. Yes. Which is terrible. So I have to deconstruct that in my head. Like deliberately associating with intelligent girls. Okay. You understand? So her age is not my problem. The moment she can.
What do you have to offer? What do you have up there?
Yes. So I quickly pick out a lady who is intelligent. And mind you, it is not about the English and the grammar she's speaking. It is the smartness, the capacity that she demonstrates. She could be speaking pidgin, but you know that this is an intelligent woman. She may not be looking
all together and the rest.
But when she opens her mouth and she's speaking, even if it's vernacular, you can perceive the wisdom. You can perceive the depth that is flowing from her brain.
Fantastic.
You know, this is an intelligent woman.
Fantastic.
And I have heard women who speak in Queen's English, and the accent is
amazing.
It's victorious.
Out of this world. But yeah, it's up there.
It's just all accent and package.
Package. Yes. Please hold it there. We'll be coming back very shortly. Please stay with us. Don't go anywhere. Thanks for staying with us. This is still Omoté Show. We're talking about Omoté from the man's perspective. And we have an amazing guest here who has been blowing our minds away. I can't tell our crew members right now. So, you were saying something about the intelligence of a lady being key. For you, it's very important. It comes first. But do you know that same intelligence has sometimes worked against some women? I will share the story with you. There's this.
Maybe the word is not work against.
Okay. As somehow, sort of,
the word has
a disadvantage.
Put off. Unintelligent men.
Oh, I love that. Can you say it again? Reiterate. Say that again.
Yeah, the smartness of some ladies and their intelligence have actually put off some unintelligent and, should I say, insecure men.
Insecure men. Yes. I love that.
It should be. Should be inspiring for a healthy male.
I love that. I like the fact that all of this is coming from a man, and it's just blowing my mind away because it's sort of trying to change the status quo. Making people
that
know
is what my show is all about. It's because the show is about redefining masculinity.
Fantastic.
And what does that mean? It means changing the narrative of what it means to be a man.
Changing the narrative.
Because what you're saying, it's the average male. The average male is not the right male.
How do you mean by that?
The average, anything average is not good enough.
That is deep. Look at that. The average male, and it's average, so it's not good enough.
Yeah.
We need something better or best.
So as a woman, you can't apologize for your smartness. Yeah. You can't apologize for whatever capacity you've been able to acquire in the course of growing up. And you actually should count yourself lucky that you don't have to minimize yourself so you can accommodate somebody. You know what I mean? So you have a space, and the space is 40 square meter space. And a man wants to come into that space and he says, oh, this space is too big, reduce it.
Let's reduce it.
So you can't reduce your space that is big because the man you're dealing with is too small.
It's too small.
So if the man is too small, obviously, it shouldn't
it's
be
not meant
your
for
word.
you, it shouldn't be your word.
There
That's
are
so
men
true.
who are big.
But where are those men?
Oh,
They're
you
very
see,
few.
now let me tell you something. You see, ladies need to know this.
Okay.
Where do you find outstanding men? Where do you find men who are terrific, who are excellent? Where do you find men who are, men who are not just
Your regular guy.
exactly your run-of-the-mill kind of
guy.
men of substance, and I'm not talking about money bags now.
Okay.
Men who have been raised with pristine character, men who have been properly groomed and polished, men who have been trained to understand that women are a gift and not just things. Beyond the nomenclature of female, babe, chick, sissy, and all of that, women are designed, gifted to men to make the world of men better.
How many of them know that?
So I'm sorry, I can't apologize for your not knowing that. I can't relate with you. I can't minimize my understanding because I want to fit into your word, where your word is actually a dysfunctional word. No, it shouldn't happen.
What's the hope of these women, these young women above 35? Because the truth is that some of these men you've described,
Yeah.
some of them are actually married and they've been groomed and trained
It
by
was
women.
some. Not all.
No, not all.
Yes.
They've been married, they're not married. And when you see them, you want, oh, this is the person I want. But guess what? He's taken.
And so, I've been to places where, and I'm not trying to eulogize myself, but I've been to places where I hear ladies talk. The kind of guys they want. Now, those guys, when they show up, what do they reflect? They look at their wristwatches, they look at their shoes, they look at their
material
grooming,
things.
they look at how they finis, how they polish.
Yeah,
things.
polished face.
No, the guys I'm talking about, they are men who are accountable. They are men who are vulnerable. They are men who can be mentored. They are men who are teachable.
Teachable.
They are men who are honorable, both within and without. But you see, you have to try them to know who they are. They are not people you can pick out by just looking at them. It is not about what they drive, it is what drives them. And you see, if you are in a hurry, you can understand all of these dynamics. So you need to get to know the backstage of this man for you to. And you see, unfortunately, we have ladies who have been, bamboozled,
And deceived.
Deceived, and so at the level where they are now, they banded every man into a box. So sometimes I don't sympathize with
sad.
that.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and that is because the glam, the gliss, and the glamour gets in the way of women's perception of real men. Yes, and I can tell you for free that I have met guys that I can endorse and say, this guy, he is teachable, he is accountable. It is somebody who you can call a husband material. But because the guy doesn't drive the right car,
You don't give him the opportunity.
he's not wearing a Gucci.
I mean, I agree with you, but on this one, I'm not going to agree with you. Let's go on a quick break. When we return, we'll talk more on this. Please don't go anywhere. Keep it locked here. Thanks for staying with us. Today is a special edition dedicated to the male folks because we are discussing about them. Because if you have to have an Omoté who wants to be with an Omoza, which is called a man in Delta, the Delta speaking part. So you were saying something before we went on a break, and
there are indicators you watch out for as a woman to actually know an abusive man. And some of these indicators don't show up when the man shows up. And one of them is what is the man's relationship with his family members, his siblings? A man who doesn't respect his mother, his father, his brothers and sisters will definitely not treat you right. So you need to watch out for how a man relates with his siblings.
Okay.
I can't treat you better than the way I treat my sisters or my brothers. So if a man is insulting his father on the phone and you're dating that guy, it's a sign that you need to run.
The red flag.
Yeah. Secondly, if a man doesn't have a male figure in his life, now take this, irrespective of the height where the man has attained, you need somebody to hold your hand and take you through life.
Like a mentor.
Yes. Call it whatever you like. It could be an uncle or big brother.
Yeah.
You know, you can't live long enough to make all the mistakes and to learn from them. So, and why are some men not interested in having mentors or having an accountability figure? Because they are not who they claim to be.
Ooh.
Yes. If you're real, if you're going somewhere, you need to have somebody who can stand behind you and say, hey, that boy is my boy. Respect, honor, whatever he brings, and whatever he says. So if you're dealing with a guy who has low character integrity, you don't want to date that guy. And so what you see is facade. When you relate with these guys,
you should be able to tell.
You should be able to tell. Some of these indicators should open your eyes. Every day you see him, he doesn't have friends. Guy, don't you have friends? And there are people in your life? Such a guy, the day he starts to abuse you, there's nobody to call. Your father can even be your mentor. It means that there are guys who you say, oh boy, I won't report you to your father. My begging, my papa.
What you go do?
Like, man, don't you do anything. And there are guys who, when you say, I'm going to call your dad, please, my father will kill me. And that is because the guy is teachable. The guy is accountable. I always tell ladies, run away from a man who is unaccountable. No. But you see, I always tell ladies, you don't have to learn the hard way. Associate yourself with smart people. Either male or female. You could have a male who is responsible, who has a healthy self-esteem, who has whose emotions have not been destroyed in such a way that he doesn't even know how to draw the boundaries. When you have such men in your life, they can guide you properly into making the right choice. Now, some ladies, their problem is not there's nobody coming. The problem is they just can't pick.
They can't pick out of the pack.
They rotten apples from the healthy apples. Some don't even have anybody, you know. But to some, they also need to understand when the wolf in sheep clothing is knocking on their door.
That is where the problem is, especially to women in this class. Women in this
I
class.
always make this brag.
Okay.
Somehow I've been gifted to spot these wolves. Very from afar.
So are you saying if I have one, I should just bring it to you? I come and meet my uncle. And I'll allow him do the talking.
I'm actually trying to run a series of programs where I can share some of my experience dealing with men. And some of these men that women can understand. Beyond also helping women understand what men really want. Now, you know, we always say the secret to a man's heart is to, no, that's wrong.
That's wrong, huh?
No, that's wrong. A man, every man needs a cheerleader.
You can say that again.
You see, when you've gone out and you've been battered and bruised and bashed by life, you need a cheerleader who's going to
cheer you up and make you feel like
exactly. And that is why most men whose wives nag, they are the most vulnerable to attack by side chicks. Because this guy has been battered. And all he needs is somebody
that'll just, you know what, you're trying, that little you're doing, please keep it up.
That's it.
During the course of our conversation now, earlier you mentioned self-esteem.
Yeah.
You know, that's one problem some men have dealing with women in this class. We're talking about an Omoté now, a 35-year-old and above lady, that she's establishing a business and a career, or whatever it is she's doing. Some men, because they don't have a healthy self-esteem.
Yeah,
They don't have the grit, insecure.
Yeah.
Even when they come to meet you as a lady that's already doing well in her own career or field of whatever she's doing, they try to see how they can stifle you and bring you to their own, you know what?
Cut you to size.
Cut you, that's the word, cut you to size.
Mm-hmm.
As a lady, how do you get to handle all of that?
Well, very simple. You don't kick off such relationships. Simple as that. You see, when you meet a guy who is insecure, you should know as a smart woman. Now, how do you know? Listen to his words. Hear what he's saying. Everything you say, he challenges them. Oh yeah, he never approves of, and there's always argument. You see, if I'm discussing with a smart woman, I want to hear her views, not my views. But ultimately, it is better to remain a single lady than marry a man that will make your life miserable.
Miserable.
Yeah, that's what
fantastic, fantastic.
Because you don't want to get married and be unhappy. You're going to be married for 50 years, 40 years, 35 years, 50 years. If you
I'm
don't
going to do that.
So why get in? So it's best you just stay away than get in and die because you got married.
That's a very good one. It's a food for thought, actually. Well, I'll just have to release him, unfortunately, but let me leave you with this last question. Women in this class, I tend to, some of them have dealt with it. For me, I think I've gone past that. Because at some point, give it or take, give it or take it, like it or not, you start getting desperate about the whole thing. When do I get settled? When do I get settled? But some are still tied to that phase. You know, and with that, they want to settle for anything. Like you said, let me just manage it. You know, any as it be, we can manage and we go. Some are deliberately lowering the standard. You know what? I don't mind. I'll manage it. You know, whatever it is. What's your advice to women in response?
You know, this studio has a door, has an exit door. The exit door shows you the way out of the studio. But there is another part of the studio that is a wall.
Yeah.
The fact that there's no door there tells you this is not the way.
This is not the way,
Now, when you start hitting your head on that wall, would there be a door there?
You're wasting your time.
There'll never be a door there. So why get involved in something you shouldn't actually get involved in? So, unfortunately, I have a problem sympathizing with those ladies. I actually commiserate with them. You know why? Because they almost don't come out alive from such relationships. And you see, I don't want to, I said to ladies, I would rather come and visit you in your father's house.
That to visit
officiate
your funeral.
So why allow us mourn when we can actually celebrate you as a single one? And the secret is find something to do. Commit your life to a cause that is bigger than you. And somewhere, somehow, you will find fulfillment.
Fantastic. So it's not about marriage for you. You're doing what you're doing and you're enjoying yourself. You just summed it up because that's actually the essence of this show. And we just have to let you go. We're looking forward to having you some other time. But today's on, we just have to let you go. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you very much for coming on the show. So that is where we'll call it today. But don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. And it's been an amazing time, a personal one-on-one session with Mr. Omoté. Thank you very much. Don't forget, the essence of life is to be impactful. Being an Omoté should not be a limitation. So go out there and live your life, have fun, and enjoy it to the fullest because you are an Omoté.